copyright, copyright. How's it going, everybody? My name is EnvyTH, and welcome to my official, I think this is my first, real review that I've done on this channel, and boy, we've got to talk. So last night, I have officially seen the Superman movie made by James Gunn, the god himself of comic book movies. I finally got to see it last night thanks to an early Amazon screening, and man, is this movie beautiful. For not only being the most anticipated movie of the year, for not only being the start to a whole new universe, for not only being a Superman movie that finally embodies Superman so damn well, something we haven't seen in God knows how long. The weight on the shoulders of this movie was incredible. I mean, the stakes have never been higher in terms of a DC movie. This movie had to be good. And something that James Gunn always does, he proves himself. He cares about the fans. He cares about the art. He knows how to make a good superhero film. I don't get it. He doesn't miss. So quick little disclaimer, this won't exactly be a spoiler-free review. If you want to see a spoiler-free review, go check out my short that I probably uploaded already on this channel. I've also uploaded it on my TikTok page and my Instagram. Let me do a quick little non-spoiler review for the people who don't want to go watch the short. So Superman is a film that not only embodies the character of Clark Kent, Superman, it also embodies DC. And not just side characters like Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen. I'm talking superheroes in the universe as well. You get great representation of Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, even though she isn't in the movie that much, and for sure, Mr. Terrific. And not just the characters that are involved with the movie as well. There are so many references, so many hints, so many Easter eggs in this film that does not make you go like, wow, this is not just a great film, but it makes you go, this is DC. This is DC. Yo, we back, department? We back? We back! The movie was great from start to finish, action-packed. Even though it did have a lot of people worried that there was too much included into the film, which there was a lot included into the film, but the reason why there was so much included into the film was because it's not a origin story. This could be a sequel to David Cornsett's first origin story Superman film. However, James Gunn didn't make this an origin story, and for the first 30 minutes I thought, wow, this is way too much going on in the first 30 minutes, and then a few more minutes passed by and it made me realize, well, this is an origin story. We don't have to necessarily dip our toes in the water. We could dive in head first because we already know what we're getting into. The movie was so beautiful. It brought tears to my eyes at the end. Tears of joy. I've never been so happy from a movie that it made me cry. That's how good this movie is. I will also say, for someone who isn't that knowledgeable or big of a fan of DC or Superman or comic books in general, you're not gonna, I'm afraid you probably won't like this film, even though you still probably might. You most likely might, because the film is really good. However, you might not get the vibe of it because it's a very comic book like movie. It's by far the best comic book movie I've ever seen. And when I say comic book movie, I mean, you ever heard the phrase of a comic book movie, it looks like the movie came straight out of a comic book? Superman embodies that so there's no movie I've ever seen that embodies it more than Superman. And it makes me worry for people who don't understand comic books or don't know much about DC. They're probably not gonna like the same. You're probably not gonna go out of this movie liking it the way I did, or how a lot of other people are liking it. They're probably just gonna think, oh, it was a good movie. Or they might hate it. You never know. And then the other way for you to hate this movie is if you're a Snyder fan, which we know the Snyder fans are weird. But you're welcomed into my channel because I accept all kinds of fans. I don't care who you are. If you're a Snyder fan, come on in here, because I liked Man of Steel. I enjoyed Man of Steel, even though it wasn't the perfect representation of Superman. I admire Zack Snyder for trying to tackle the darker side of Superman, and I respect him for it. And like I said, I like Man of Steel. I didn't like Batman vs. Superman, but I like Man of Steel. However, for a Superman movie that truly embodies hope, truly makes you smile. Anytime David Cornsett's Superman was on the screen, I found myself smiling, because This dude not only plays Superman well, he is Superman. And we can't forget the side characters: Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific. Like I said, they were all amazing. Hawkgirl, I will say, on the lesser S of the spectrum, only because we didn't get to see a lot of her, but the scenes we did see of her, more specifically her action scenes, were very badass. But I don't think there's more badass than Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific was awesome in this movie. For a character that I didn't know much of, I'm definitely going to be digging more into the lore of Mr. Terrific, or just the character itself, because wow, I love his character. I think he's my favorite side character in the entire movie. But more importantly, Rachel Brosnahan's and David Cornsett's chemistry on this film was so beautiful. They truly embodied Clark Kent, Superman, and Lois Lane so well. Anytime they shared the screen together, it was like fireworks. You felt the sparks, you felt the energy, their souls were dancing. I forgot to mention Nicholas Hoult's performance as Lex Luthor in the film was by far the best performance in the entire movie. Definitely embodies professional hater very well. So yeah, that is essentially my non-spoiler review for this movie. It's beautiful. I suggest you go see it, even if you're not a big fan of comic books or DC in general. It is a great film, and I find it hard to believe anyone would walk out of this movie going, "Oh, this movie f***ing sucks," unless you were a Snyder fan. But now we go into the spoiler aspect of the film, where I talk more about the story. I'm not gonna spoil it too much. However, I will be throwing some spoilers in there. We talk about the story of Superman, and the way James Gunn described it was a story of America. Essentially, an alien from another planet is basically not being welcomed by someone high in power, that being Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor's goal in this movie is to truly just brainwash the world of Superman, to make he wants to make everyone hate him. He doesn't want Superman to be loved. He wants the world to hate him, and then he wants to take him off the map. It's even showed Lex Luthor doesn't just hate Superman, he hates metahumans, but there's something about Superman that he truly despises. He's a professional hater, and Nicholas Hoult's performance is so damn good. From start to finish, this movie is action-packed. It literally throws you straight in, head first. You're going straight into the action. There's no build-up. There's no, oh, let's see Clark Kent getting here as a baby. You do get like a little explanation at the beginning. A very, very clever explanation where it's like, oh, 3 centuries ago, metahumans arrived or were discovered on Earth. 3 decades ago, Krypton sent a ship with a baby in it. 3 years ago, blah 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 blah. You know, it was very clever. And Lex's plan to try and basically brainwash the world of Superman was executed very well. I mean, this dude was messing around with wormholes, going from place to place, having his own metahumans try to take out Superman. This dude was 3 steps ahead of the game the entire time. And then Superman facing this challenge with the world hating him when he essentially finds out that a message from his parents, his Kryptonian parents, wasn't as true as he thought it was. Essentially, the message Superman embodied his whole life. It made him the man who he is. It made him the person who wants to save the entire world. And I got it. Like, Superman is represented so well in this film. He's not only saving people, he's saving animals too. He's saving villains. That big ass kaiju that we saw in the trailer, he wanted to save it. This thing is like on the verge of destroying the city, and he wants to save it. It is by far the most perfect representation of Superman I've ever seen. Like, I don't want to be one to say that David Cornsett's Superman is the best Superman of all time, but after seeing this movie, it's hard for me not to, considering how well it was done. And then him facing the challenge with the entire world hating him, and him getting incredibly frustrated because he simply is just a man who wants to do good, who wants to provide for the world. And not everyone is gonna see that, and especially when the message turned out to be essentially him ruling over Earth rather than protecting it. Well, that made the entire world question, like, well, Superman is a traitor. Superman is not one for us. And then that made him really question his character. Like, what has Superman been fighting for this entire time? And it wasn't until he gets to the lovely farm of Papa Kent and Mama Kent, which I loved in this movie. Oh my God! Anytime Superman shared the screen with his father, it was so beautiful, because Superman's father is just, even though he looks like this big old hard-on southern man, he's a little softy on the inside. And basically him getting Superman on the right track, him describing how proud he was of him, anytime they shared the screen together, it was so emotional, so beautiful. And then you get to the final battle of this film, where so much chaos is happening. And you know that problem that Marvel has in like phase 2 and a little bit of phase 3, where it's like, where are the other heroes? They could be helping them out in this scene. I love how James Gunn managed to solve that issue in the first film of the DCU. There's so much happening in the world. World War III is at stake at the moment, and then there's a wormhole essentially ripping open Metropolis, and Superman can't do all of this on his own. So what does he do? The Justice Gang gets sent over to help out, and it's such a cool scene with Guy Gardner. Oh my god, I was on the fence with Nathan Fillion being Guy Gardner, and he is one of my favorite characters in the film. He was so damn cool. It felt so good to see the Lanterns get done justice after the Ryan Reynolds movie, and along with Metamorpho as well. Every like character was shown really well. The only one who probably wasn't shown as well as the others was Hawkgirl. However, some of the scenes you do see her in are really cool. I just wish we saw more. And then you get to the end where you get to this very emotional part where Superman essentially has won and has beaten Lex Luthor, and he gives a little speech to him essentially saying, well, he's just as human as everyone else. And it's such a beautiful scene, and the score, the musical score, was so good, so damn good. It has that James Gunn like vibe to it with the original Superman theme, the iconic Superman theme. No copyright. It has that same vibe to it, and it like the score in the movie was so beautifully done. To everyone who's worked on this film in general, amazing job. Y'all cooked. Y'all all deserve awards. If I'm going to leave a review for Superman, I gotta give it a 5-star review. It is the best comic book movie of all time. It made me cry at the end. It truly represented hope. It made, like, I was so happy at the end of this film, and I genuinely can't wait to see it again because I already got my tickets. I forgot to talk about Crypto. Oh my god, Crypto was one of my, oh my god.
What?
Did you see the sentence I just created? I don't even know what that was. Crypto was not only like in my heart in this movie. I love animals. I'm a big pet person. Anytime Crypto on the screen, I would laugh, but I would also get sad at moments when Lex Luthor had him captured. But Crypto also had some pretty cool action scenes. Crypto was represented so well as simply just being a super dog, and I loved him so much. He was such a lovable dog. In my honest opinion, this universe is on a great track because it is by far beautiful in terms of representing superheroes, representing the comic books, and representing DC. And I cannot wait for the next film. I mean movies, by the way. I know the next project coming out is going to be Peacemaker, and I cannot wait for that as well. But that is my official review on the Superman movie. One of the best superhero films I've seen in such a long time. Honestly, I think it's about to make my top 10. I love this movie, but I'm gonna make it my top 10 if I have a similar feeling when I go see it a second time, because you know when you watch a movie a second time, there's gonna be some more stuff that you catch. However, I don't think I'm gonna hate this movie the second time I see it. I love this movie for the first time, and I am 100% sure that I'm going to love it the second time. Even if you're not a fan of DC, I suggest you go see this film, because not only was it the most anticipated film of the year, it just might be the best. Thank you all so much for watching this. If you haven't, click the like button down below, subscribe if you're not, and I'll leave it at that. TH out.